It's come to my attention, actually, it's come to our attention that there are more than a few people within the WWE universe who think that this injury is phony. There's those of you out there who think that my surgery did not actually take place in some elaborate scheme to duck another title match with Ryback. Well, take my word for it. I assure you, this is 100% real life. This is what happens when you work more days than anybody else. This is what happens when you're the WWE champion for 388 grueling days. This is a simple fact of life. Injuries happen. It's a tough sport, ladies and gentlemen. 388 days with no signs of slowing down. Injuries will happen. They happen frequently. In fact, I would like to take you back right now 1 week to show you exactly how I was injured.
Punk was celebrating after he got out of answering questions in the lie detector test by The Miz. Thanks to the Shield, then Ryback would appear, and Ryback assaulting the WWE champion.
Yeah, you're right about that. A lot of damage done by Ryback. Oh, to the WWE champion. That wasn't all. Look at this. Steel ladder. Oh, steel chair.
Of course, symbolic.
And then the table.
Of the tables, ladders, and chairs matchup they were supposed to have this coming Sunday in Brooklyn. But it was there where Ryback would injure the WWE champion. An all-out assault on Punk.
I also want to take the time right now to address this vocal minority that thinks that I should be stripped of the WWE title. Mostly Ryback fans, I can tell. The notion that I would somehow create a felonious injury to hide from a man who's not even smart enough to try to keep the champion healthy so he can attain the WWE championship is ridiculous. If anybody believes I should be stripped of what I earned, I say, come strip me right now. Which one of you is going to do it? Because I'll tell you this much right now. John Cena couldn't take it away from me. Big Show couldn't take it away from me. Dolph Ziggler, Alberto Del Rio, The Miz, Kane, Daniel Bryan, Chris Jericho. Hell, there's probably a whole bunch of names I'm forgetting because the list is that long of people who thought they could but simply couldn't. And Ryback has had 2 chances to become champion, and he's done nothing but fail at both attempts. The Rock, come the Royal Rumble, gets 1 shot, and I guarantee you, and I promise you, he will also fail. Hey, boo me all you want. I know the truth hurts, ladies and gentlemen. I'll leave you with this. This Sunday, anybody else would be sitting in a bed, icing their knee, hitting that button on their pain pump. But no, your champion will be present at the TLC pay-per-view because I'm simply going to watch just like all of you, and I'm going to watch The Shield, who I am not affiliated with, do to Ryback what Ryback did to me last week.
If you smell what The Rock is cooking.
WBCB presents Pro Wrestling Weekly.
Tell me he didn't just say that.
Call in with a question or comment at 215-949-3232 or 888-922-2149.
The Tower of Power, too sweet to be sour, funky like a monkey, oh yeah.
And now, here's your host of Pro Wrestling Weekly, Fearon Derry.
It doesn't matter what your name is.
Really? Yeah!
Hello and welcome to Pro Wrestling Weekly here on 1490 WBCB and online at WBCB1490.com. Fearon Derry here with you. Did you miss me last week? I sure hope so. Man, we got a lot to talk about. As you heard in the opening clip there, CM Punk, yes, last week undergoing emergency knee surgery a week and a half ago. WWE.com reporting that Dr. James Andrews, yes, that Dr. James Andrews, completing a scope of CM Punk's left knee. He successfully trimmed a cartilage tear in Punk's knee. A quote from one of WWE's physicians, who's also a colleague of Andrews. CM Punk underwent knee surgery to remove a piece of torn meniscus that had locked up his knee. The surgery performed by Dr. James Andrews went smoothly, and CM Punk is expected to make a full recovery. But the immediate impact of that, he is out for tomorrow's TLC pay-per-view. So the initially planned TLC match for the title between CM Punk and Ryback has been changed, and now the WWE Championship will not be on the line at TLC, but instead your new main event, also a tables, ladders, and chairs match, the 3 members of The Shield against Team Hell No, Daniel Bryan and Kane, along with Ryback. Should be interesting. The 3 members of The Shield, Dean Ambrose and Roman Reigns and Seth Rollins, against Daniel Bryan, Kane, and Ryback. I'll have my predictions certain to go wrong for the whole lineup. I've got it all for you coming up this hour. Plus, TNA had a pay-per-view. They had Final Resolution this past Sunday. I'll go over the results for that. I had my predictions up on the Facebook fan page along with some interesting commentary, some other news and notes from the Abe Vigoda files, a wrestler who was declared dead but actually wasn't. So we've got that for you, trying to lighten things up a little bit. But I guess before we get too much into the lightness of things, and this is something we can certainly talk about as well. You know, I love being able to provide a distraction, having a little bit of fun here, and certainly after the events of yesterday up in Connecticut, the shooting up there, I know it's gripped the nation to say the least, and actually it's had its effect even in WWE circles. Zack Ryder was supposed to make an appearance at the Microsoft store at the Danbury Fair in Danbury, Connecticut, and that has been canceled, and WWE citing the school shooting in Connecticut as the reason for the cancellation. So it's even reaching across into the pro wrestling circle of, I mean, obviously it pales in comparison. I mean, you know, our thoughts and prayers go out to the families of all the folks who lost their lives in that tragic shooting. And it opens up a whole ton of debates, and I don't know if we want to get into them here or not, or if we just want to stick with the usual debates of, you know, what can WWE do to improve their ratings, as can TNA, or who's going to, you know, win the upcoming pay-per-views. I mean, plenty of stuff to talk about, and you know, you certainly have the opportunity to do so. That's what's certainly great about this show, and me bringing it here to you. Taking a look at some Facebook feedback. Dan, of course, from Chicago. Yeah, the infamous Dan from Chicago chiming in. Out of the Nexus era since they broke up, of course, a lot of comparison from the Shield to the Nexus group from a couple of years ago. Who does everyone think is going to be the breakout star of the group? Dan feels that it's Wade Barrett so far. Well, you'd have to say that Ryback has done a good job, although he's kind of cooled off a little bit since the last pay-per-view, taking that loss has kind of hurt his mystique a little bit. We'll see what track they go into heading into the Royal Rumble, especially since, well, he won't be involved in the title picture because it'll be CM Punk and The Rock. But we'll look at the Rumble coming up, obviously, over the next couple of weeks. First, we've got the pay-per-view to get through, and Cody Rhodes, he is back after suffering an injury, and in that time off, he decided to grow out a mustache, which has also led to some interesting debates whether it was a bright idea or not. Initially, I thought, wow, it's cheesy, shave that thing off, and now the more I see it, I'm thinking, you know what? Rock that stash. Why not? Go for it. So we'll certainly see how things are going there. You know what? Let's take a look at the rest of the TLC lineup, and I'll give you my predictions certain to go wrong. And then over the next segment, we'll talk some TNA and go over Final Resolution as well. First of all, WWE and of course their attempt to, I guess, exploit the divas, for lack of a better term. They've got what they're declaring the Santa's Helper #1 contender Diva Battle Royal. Involved in it, Alicia Fox, Layla, Natalya, Caitlyn, Tamina Snuka, Rosa Mendez, Oksana, Cameron, and Naomi. I think Layla's going to go with it. We'll probably have another match. They're always good for a solid match, but you know, WWE hasn't exactly respected the divas as of late and hasn't really given much incentive for the WWE Universe to respect them, which is really a shame. but I think Layla's going to win that. You've got a rematch of Rey Mysterio and Sin Cara against Rhodes Scholars, Cody Rhodes and Damian Sandow. I think Rhodes Scholars, they're going to take that, continue to be in the tag title hunt, and that is a number one contenders match as well, as Kane and Daniel Bryan, they're wrestling in the main event, part of that six-man TLC match. They won't be defending the tag titles at this pay-per-view. Antonio Cesaro in another rematch. We'll see defend the U.S. title against R-Truth. I think Cesaro is going to retain there. Kofi Kingston and Wade Barrett for the Intercontinental title. I have a hunch that I think Barrett's going to take it here. Maybe I'm following too much into Dan's hype as far as Barrett being a breakout guy, but I don't know. I'm thinking if there's going to be any kind of title change, that's where it's going to be. And you've got Big Show and Sheamus in a chairs match for the World Championship. I think Show retains here. I'm not going to buy into the Sheamus wins and then Ziggler cashes in the Money in the Bank contract, because everybody's been thinking that for months now. So I don't know. This is probably the one time where I don't think it's going to happen, so therefore it is going to happen. Go figure. Speaking of Dolph Ziggler and that Money in the Bank contract, it's on the line against John Cena in a ladder match, because we needed a ladder match in some capacity. So why not? Why not have Ziggler defend it again after having successfully defended it against Chris Jericho earlier this year? I don't know. Why get the title or the title shot if, as opposed to actually defending belts, now the championship contracts are going to be on the line on numerous occasions? I don't know. I don't think it's necessarily a smart move. Either way, Cena fans, I hate to say it, I think Ziggler retains here and will eventually cash in. And then the main event, Team Hell No and Ryback against The Shield in that TLC match. I think Team Feed Hell No is going to take it. Yes, I'm just coming up with that off the cuff because, again, why not? So there those are. Going over them, I've got Layla, Rhodes Scholars, Cesaro, Barrett, Big Show, Ziggler, and Ryback and Team Hell No. And that'll actually bump up the number of predictions for the year to a full baseball season, 162 predictions. How have I done so far? Almost as good as the Phillies did a couple of years ago. 155 so far for the year. 100 right, 55 not so much. And that includes going 6-1 on the Final Resolution picks. And I'll go into more detail with that on the other side. A little impressed there by the Starship here. Impressed by the picks. Or maybe he's impressed by whatever's on the computer screen. I don't know. Could be a little bit of both.
I'm saying that looks like what the Angels record could be next year.
It's very possible. Yeah, they've been picking up people left, right, and sideways. All right, let's take care of a little bit of business. We'll get to Ed and Ron, who've been hanging on the other side, and we've got room for your calls as well. 215-949-3232 or toll free at 888-922-2149. Those are the ways to reach us via the phones. If you're a little shy to get over the airwaves, I keep throwing it out there. You can hardly sound worse than I do, and I'm running on almost 27 and a half hours and no sleep. So if you can sound, I'm pretty sure you can sound better than I can given those circumstances. So, but just in case you're a little hesitant too, there's always the Facebook feedback, the WBCB Pro Wrestling Weekly Facebook fan page. Go ahead and like us, and then you can contribute onto the wall as John from the Northeast has just done, and we'll get to that on the other side as well. Always good for contribution is John, and we'll get to Ed and Ron on the phones as well, and room for you on top of it. This is Pro Wrestling Weekly here on 1490 WBCB, BCB1490.com.